All right. Good evening, family. Hey, it's your brother, G. Hightower, the Entanglement Coach, coming in on this Friday night. And so glad to be here. Thank God it's Friday. And thank God for all of you coming into the Real Love Nation podcast. I came back with my brothers. We're coming back with part two of an awesome conversation that we had last week. Excuse me. We're going to get it together here in a minute. Last week. And the show was entitled, What Men Really Want in a Wife. Ladies, you're hearing from other people, other women all around the world, and of course throughout mainstream media as well as social media about what men are looking for. And ladies, I'm going to just tell you this. There are a certain number of you who are absolutely beautiful and wise, and you have a pretty good bead on what men are looking for. But many of you ladies don't have a clue because you're talking to each other rather than hearing from us as men. So I have three men who are going to come on tonight, and we're going to share from our hearts and give you some rich perspective on what men are really wanting, what we are really looking for in a wife. I want to introduce my brother, first of all, Dr. Sherman C. Urquhart, phenomenal gentleman. And my brother, Jared Schroeder, is with us as well. We're going to expect another brother, Brandon Leathers. We're expecting him to join us as well. Ladies, here's what I need you to do. Just before I let my brothers introduce themselves. Listen, I need you to please share this broadcast. Let's go. Let's get it out. Karen Martin, I see you, twin. Bless you. I love you. Dorothy, I see you. Listen, hit that share button right there. Hit that. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Bam, right there. Hit that share button. Let's go. Let's get some folks in on the broadcast, family. We are live streaming on 3 platforms simultaneously, 2 Facebook pages, and on YouTube. So this broadcast is going out to roughly about 10,000 people. So I need you to go ahead and share the broadcast, and let's get it out to even more people. All right. Let's turn up in here tonight. And then by all means, ladies, we welcome you to drop comments. And if you have a question, please let me know that, and I will do the best that I can to address your question. All right. Brandy, I see you. Thanks for coming in. Let me turn it over to my brother, Dr. Sherman, so he can introduce himself, tell you a little bit about himself. Dr. Sherman.
What's going on? Sherman Urquhart. It's good to be here again after for a second week of this great conversation. Brother, appreciate you having me on here.
Yes,
life
sir.
coach, leadership coach, educator by trade, but I do a lot of things. I'm a father. That's my most important job. So shout out to all the fathers coming up on Father's Day. That's the job I hold most dear. But all is well, brother. Fighting this Virginia heat. It's supposed to 96 today, and then it's about to storm, and then tomorrow it's gonna be like 78. So it's up and down, but otherwise all is well, brother. Good to be here.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, same here, man. It's been like 96, 97 today, and then all of a sudden it started raining late in the afternoon. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. But yeah, good to have you here again, Dr. Sherman. All right, my brother Jared Schroeder is in the building. What's up, Jared?
How's it going?
Excellent, brother. Introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, what you do.
I'm Jared Schroeder, born and raised in Dayton, Ohio, 42 years young. Short version of what I do is just kingdom entrepreneurship. I got a clothing line, a faith-based clothing line that I launched about 3 years ago. To sum me up, I'm just a kingdom entrepreneur, visionary, grinding it out, trying to make some success and bless people along the way, and share and testify and evangelize on the way.
Absolutely, man. Awesome. Great to have you here. And for those who are not familiar with me, I am Gerald T. Hightower, affectionately known as Dr. G. I am certified life coach, relationship coach, pastoral counselor of 19 years. So as I always say, I'm not new to this. I'm real true to this. I am passionate about the mission of what we do at my firm, Real Love Nation, and that is building healthy love relationships. My area of specialty, I specialize in the area of breaking free from soul ties, helping people heal from unhealthy, toxic attachments, and of course, heal from soul wounds such as rejection, abandonment, and betrayal. And I'm honored to be here with you tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching this broadcast live or by way of replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Again, hit that share button and let's get some folks in on the broadcast because we got to help some people. Boom, hit that share button and let's go. We're going to chop it up. Monica, good to see you. Thank you all for coming in. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Listen, and you can all drop some names in the comment section too. If you're on Facebook, hey, Leslie Hardy, if you're on Facebook, drop 5 names, drop at least 5 names in the comment section, family. When you drop names in the comment section, that essentially tags people and brings them into the broadcast. All right. Hey, Marquita, good to see you. Thank you all for coming in. I appreciate you greatly. All right, let's go. Let's chop it up. So Dr. Sherman, let's wake it up in here. We talked about last week. We left out on a really awesome high note, Jared, and we were talking about not only what men need and what men are looking for, but we also talked about identifying the woman's needs as well. And we were talking about the society that we're in today, because it's so interesting that today we're getting married much later in life. And there are some people who not only are prolonging their season of singleness, but some people have literally just eliminated the possibility of getting married because they have so much going on in their life that they're unable to make adjustments, changes, sacrifices to become, to get involved in a relationship. But then there are some women, and I hear this from a lot of men, that, yeah, well, you know, I haven't found the one yet, so I'm keeping my options open. I'm keeping my options open. And so my question is, Dr. Sherman, do you feel like that we have too many options available to us, that we're not accessing or investing time into one person because we have opportunities to connect with so many people through social media and other means?
Yeah, I think so. I think the access that people have is far greater than it used to be, especially when we were growing up. Us in our 40s. I'm 46, so back then, you know, we might have been talking about it last week, where you know you could have a somebody that you're interested in, and you know they might be in the same town, but you don't have access to them. Or at least we didn't. Ain't nobody had no car, and won't nobody taking nobody to go see nobody, like we were saying before. So access was just it had a cap on it. There was a cap on the access. But now, and I think Jared was talking about it earlier, how, you know, if there's, I'm gonna let him elaborate on that more, but I think the access that we have is far greater. So, you know, it sort of makes it to where, you know, it's hard to sort of really pay attention to one person if you have sort of wandering eyes, what they would call it. But even if you don't have wandering eyes and you're just just scrolling like everybody else, there's just so many people and so many other, you know, options that a lot of people are not satisfied with just one. I think Jared had went further deep on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before Jared jumps in, welcome my brother Brandon Leathers is in the building. What's up, Brandon?
Well, how are you guys doing?
Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining in on the broadcast.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jared. So yeah, so Jared, you did actually mention that options. I mean, we've got dating sites, we've got, you know, social media, people hooking up, and now even on Facebook, somebody sent me a message, you know, wanting to ask me out on a date through the dating site here on Facebook. I'm like, wait a minute, where did this come from? Like, there's a whole little dating thing now on Facebook. I'm like, hamburger, you know, and I mean, you know, I don't know what a young lady from Thailand, what she can do for me, you know. He's like, you're very nice, young man. I like you. Me be a very good wife to you. Me love you long time. You know, I mean, I just don't know, you know, what you're going to do for me. Are you all the way in Thailand? You know what I mean? Listen, I'm a proponent of long distance dating, but that's a long way. But talk to us, Jared.
Well, like I was saying,
many options. What's up?
Like I was saying before you got on here, like the human's attention span is just getting shorter and shorter. Like I was saying, that's why TikTok and stuff is so popular, because you just scroll mindlessly forever, and the attention span gets shorter and shorter. So with all the dating sites and everything, you have all these options: swipe, swipe, swipe. So let's say you get a match, but you got 10 matches, and the women are going to get more matches than the men are, in my opinion. But you have all these conversations, potential conversations, where you're like juggling conversations, and then the one that you could potentially really be a good match for might get swept under the rug because you're entertaining all these other conversations and options and everything. So I just think it's just with the abundance of options and distractions and everything, it's really hard to make a connection. I heard all these young bucks in their 30s talking about how hard it is dating in the 30s. I'm like, just wait till you get into your 40s and up. It's a rough sport.
Right. Right.
In the age of the internet and internet dating and social media and everything, it's just making it more and more difficult for the attention spans and all the options. So
yeah, Jared, great point right there. And good evening to everybody coming in. Pastor Nelson, my dear sister Anisha, blessings to you. Jojo, blessings to you. Thank you all for coming in. Please go ahead and share. Miss Deborah, blessings to you. Thank you all for coming in. I appreciate you all, fam. Listen, go ahead and hit that share button. Let's get some folk up in here. We got to bless people up in here tonight. Because guess what? People are saying that they want love, but oh my God, why in the world does it seem? And my sister Anisha is in here, who is also in a relationship as an awesome relationship consultant as well, relationship coach. And it's amazing how we say we want love, but we got more single folks who don't have love than we have single folks coming together. And certainly we know people are getting married. By the grace of God, I've been able to coach and counsel some people. There are 2 couples getting married. One couple is they're right near their wedding date. Their wedding date is in August. And then I have another couple that I've been pouring into and counseling. They're getting married, I believe, in November. So by the grace of God, we certainly are seeing people get married, but certainly not enough people coming together and getting married. Quick question, Jared, on that note about dating sites and all this. And Brandon, I want to get you in on this part too. Do you really believe that online dating is obviously it works, but do you believe that online dating is a good sound way for men and women to meet and possibly find their mate? Jared, what do you think?
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think that it really depends on whose hands it in, for one, and for another thing, I just want to say is a lot of, I think, is driven by fear. Like, if say you meet somebody on there, you're talking, you're kind of hitting it off a little bit, you got some common interests or whatnot. The fear of, is this person like talking to 5 other people right now, and then he thinks she thinks he is, and all this. So they are just doing it because they're like, I don't want to look like a fool. I don't want to look stupid. I want to invest all my time in all this person. They're talking to this many people, and in reality, you don't really know. So I think a lot of things that cloud the water is fear of not looking not wanting to look stupid, and wondering if they're really interested in you, or they're just entertaining whatever comes their way.
Right. That's good, Jared. Brandon, what say you, sir? Do you believe in online dating? Is it a good way for possibly to meet our mate?
I actually do believe in online. Excuse me. I actually do believe in online dating. I myself I've tried it. I've actually had a relationship that actually, lasted for a couple years from it. And ended marriage. But I do know people who have used the online dating route and are married today. And they've actually found their purpose partner. I don't see it any differently than if you were meeting someone face to face. There's still the same risk that while you're investing the time into that person, they could be talking to 4 or 5 other people that you don't even know about, and so it's all about taking that risk. But more importantly, were you led by God to this individual, or are you looking at how that person may look, or whatever? I think it's really important to be spirit-led, whichever direction you go, whether it's meeting someone organically or traditionally, or via a app or dating site.
Good stuff, Brandon. One of my sisters over here, Miss Karen, said, I believe in old school dating. Dr. Sherman, what was the experience? And I want to, if it's okay, I kind of want to touch on, because I know where you are right now, and you certainly have shared your heart with me personally about where you are. What, if you don't mind, kind of bringing us into how you met your wife, and how you met your wife and how you developed that relationship. Is that a pattern that you said, this was the good way, this was the way to do it, and when I'm ready to do it again, I want to pursue that same direction?
I think so. It was, and when I tell that story, it's probably more important under what circumstances did we meet rather than how did we meet, because the circumstances were, sometimes as men, we mature sometimes slower than, women. On the whole, we just mature slower. So the funny thing about it was, I was at the point of my life where I had sort of done everything else. Everything was under control. I was working 2 jobs. My son was good. Everything was straight. Everything was cool. So there was nothing left other than to get married. Even though I wasn't necessarily looking to get married, that was the last challenge. That was the last head of household. I was already a father, but being a husband, head of household, that was the last thing that I had not done. So I think the Lord chose that time for me when, I wouldn't be easily distracted. We were talking about the access and all this. It was 2014. So, and I think I wasn't doing too much online dating. At the time, I was actually looking for a home.
Mm-hmm.
So that let me know that, I was in the position where, okay, I'm ready to take my life to the next level. And, I was living in an apartment and buy my first home. I wasn't, trying to get married. I was trying to, get a home. And then I was looking for realtors on LinkedIn. I was on LinkedIn looking for realtors and saw a few. Wrote down some numbers, some names of some people that I would contact, and I probably talked to a few. And this went on for a few days, was, looking to see if I could find the best realtor who would be the best fit for what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ran across her on LinkedIn. And
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was a realtor. And
wow.
I said, oh man, she's right here in town. I said, first of all, how have I not seen her before? Secondly, okay, how can I approach her? Like, I really need the help of a realtor, but you're also hot.
Right.
I want to ask you out, right?
Right.
So I had to be professional. I'm like, yeah, how you doing? I'm, in the process of buying a home, and and they ask some questions and looking for a realtor, and you
and
seem
then
like
you threw that Luther on her, talking about, can I take you out?
But the house is not a home,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So she was just, and it was almost like, we laugh about it, but she was just, we were just on the same page about things from the very moment we had a conversation. And I knew from then that, wow, okay, I still didn't think this would be the woman that I would marry. But after about a couple of weeks of this sort of confirmation, signs signs you've been looking for, but you didn't know you were looking for them. But God just puts them out there. And only you can see them. Sometimes these confirmation signs, only you can see them. Nobody else is going to understand. You can tell them the story, but they're not going to feel it. So there was just too many of those things that took place during that short period of time to let me know this is the woman. This is her. So stop. There's nothing else but her. So
wait a minute, Dr. Sherman, you said after a couple of weeks of talking to her that you were getting confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. You weren't even initially seeking God concerning a wife. You were looking for a home.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you went on LinkedIn and got linked up.
Right. Yep. Sure did. And she sold me, long story short, she sold me the house. We got married and, had the baby. And, You know, it was great for a brief period of time. It was great for a brief period of time. So to answer your question, looking forward, it's hard to know what to expect. I did some sort of the Facebook dating you were talking about, like last fall, just sort of messing around Tinder, just get on the. I haven't been on online dating since like 2010 or 11. You know, things are a lot different now. The ladies are a lot different. You know, a lot different. I'm like, wow, okay. So you got to. I'm like, so then time goes by and you talk to some people and you say hello and time goes by and more people come, more and you got to. It's almost like a conveyor belt to where I just had to. Couple months ago, just turn it off because it just keep getting too many people. It's too many people. And like Jared was saying before, the access is there, but it's also, you know, I'm too old to be remembering who's got what, how many kids, where they live, where their parents live. You know, that's a young man's game. Okay, that's for the young players. I'll let them handle that. I'll look crazy with a notepad, you know. So how was your day? And I'm writing, you know, who's your brother again? Yeah, but when you bring that stuff back up, because you done studied a little bit before you talk to them again, when you bring that stuff back up, they're like, oh, you remembered? Oh my goodness! And I'll be like, I wrote it down. You know, you make yourself look smarter than you really are. But I would be looking for that sort of thing again, where I'm not really doing anything but taking my life to the next level, and then she would come in out of the blue. That's other than that, I don't know, but I assume it's going to be something like that.
Right. I so appreciate that story, Dr. Sherman. I didn't even know that part. You didn't share that part with me before. I didn't even know that part. So of course, your wife passed away 2018?
19.
20, your wife passed away. So again, my brother, my heart goes out to you. I know she was the love of your life, but God blessed you. God blessed you to have her for the time that you had her and bring this beautiful daughter into the world. So thank God for that.
It was all good, you know. There's a lesson in everything, and that you excuse me, go through stages, but you can't be too much of any one thing. You can't be too angry. You can't be too bitter. You can't be too afraid. You can't be too any of those things. Otherwise, you're going against the will. So you have to sort of go with the flow and, you know, hope for the best and pray for the best. And just, like you said, try to level up all the time in your own purpose. And then the rest of it will fall into place. All the dating, that's a young man's game. People out there.
Brother, trust me.
It's too much.
I hear you. Listen, because I know you're going to have to go soon. So I wanted to get this from you. And then I want to pitch it to my other brothers, Jared and Brandon, as well. So when we go through the trauma of having lost a loved one or having gone through a divorce, having gone through that experience with you losing your wife going home to be with the Lord, has that caused you to be, you know, I know you said you kind of played around on some sites, but has it caused you to be a bit reticent to give your heart again? Does it make you kind of fearful? Like, I don't know if I want to give my heart again like that because I don't know what may happen. Does it cause you to be more reluctant to give again, Dr. Sherman? Or do you feel like when God blesses me with the right one, I'll press past whatever apprehensions are there?
I think it's more of that, what you just said, because, you know, if I had to base it on what happened last time, I can't logically come up with the circumstances under which that would happen again. It would have to be divinely orchestrated, because I can't see. Well, maybe I go to the grocery store and you know, I might see some, and maybe it'll happen there. I'm going to get some papaya or something, and then she walks up. You know, I don't know. The only thing I can do is, like I said, just sort of. Because I got plenty to keep me busy, which is good. So just walking the things that I'm supposed to be walking in. And I assume that if it's meant to be, if that's supposed to happen again, then he'll just orchestrate it in a way that I can't foretell or can't see. You know, it'll just happen, you know. But I'll have to have those confirmations. I'll have to have, and it would have to be something like before to where I knew for sure, you know.
Yeah. That's excellent. Brandon, what does the confirmation look like for you when you find the woman that you feel like she checks certain boxes in terms of the woman that you've been praying for? You talked about being in a relationship previously that lasted 2 years, and it was obviously good for that time that it lasted. But what will serve for you, Brandon, because that one did not lead to marriage? but what is going to serve to be that catalyst that makes you say, you know what, this is the one, and I need to make her the one. Like now, right now, we ain't playing no games. It's time to do this thing called marriage. What is that thing for you, Brandon?
I guess that tough question. You know, you know what? I have not given it a lot of thought as far as that. I think if it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen, and God always has a way of just allowing things to just fall in place naturally, like it's supposed to, and then you'll just know, you know. But I also do know that one thing I've done with previous relationships is if it's gotten to a certain point, I'll always ask a real dangerous question because up till now I like the answer, but it was for my own good. I always told God, like, if this is the one for me, then let it progress quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like from here, let it accelerate and progress quickly. If not, then take it away. And so within, I would say 7 to 10 days after me praying that, the relationship would be over. And it didn't matter if it was the quote unquote perfect relationship up until that point. If I would pray that prayer and it wasn't a guy, like within a week to 10 days, the relationship over with, you know. Right. So
that's good, Brandon. Now, you know what? Now you said something really powerful right there. I want to kind of pull that out a little bit more. Because you talked about natural, and I saw Dr. Sherman kind of nodding his head in agreement that it'll just naturally fall in place. One of the things I want to say to all of my sisters and all my brothers out there, those of you that are single and you're believing God for your mate, let me share this with you. God does not choose your mate for you, okay? He created all of us to be free moral agents, and he's given us the power to choose. What God does do, his divine orchestration, as Dr. Sherman alluded to, he does, when your heart is ready, he does cause you to intersect as you're on the pathway of purpose, as you are involved in certain pursuits. Dr. Sherman was praying and seeking for a house, and God put a wife in his path. So God will certainly cause things to intersect with you, but God doesn't literally just grab you and says, thou art the one for, you know, I mean, like, just, you know, like, boom, drop that person in your lap. Yes, to your point, Brandon, there are some things that will organically happen, absolutely. But I wanted to know this, Brandon, a little bit more specific. Do you have a particular preference for the type of woman that you are looking for as a wife?
I mean, so the particular preference now, like I would say maybe about 5-10 years ago, the particular preference was more physical than it was spiritual or mentally. But now, you know, the preference is more geared to the spiritual and mental aspect for me. I mean, of course, like we discussed in the broadcast, they have to be attractive to you as well, you know. And
right, you know, I was getting ready to go there, Brandon. I was getting ready to go there. Like, the physical don't matter no more. I mean, you want, is it okay for you to be married to an educated, anointed booger wolf? Like, she can just show up like, hey, Brandon, how you doing, sugar? Listen, I know I got only, you know, what's up? Talk to me now, brother. Come on, this is man talk here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they definitely have to be, you know, they have to be attracted to you. That gets your attention, but to really qualify them as wife or mate material, now you have to begin to look at the spiritual aspect foremost, and you know, the mental aspect, like what your likes and dislikes are, your commonalities between one another, you know. So I mean, I think over the years that part of me and that perspective has changed, you know, to where I things now too. So, you know.
Yeah, that's good, Brandon. One thing is for sure, brother, with you being a professional chef, yeah, you'll be able to expedite the process pretty good. You cook a couple of meals for her and you're going to be all right. Brother Jared, let me swing it to you, Jared. Good evening to all my sisters coming in. Blessings to you. Mary Louise, I see you, dear. Dr. Clara, I see you. Thank you all for coming in. I appreciate you all. Please go ahead and share the broadcast, y'all. Let's get some folks in on this conversation. Mary, as you said, this conversation is a must-needed one, and we'll be having more conversations like this. But please help us to get it out there, family. This is going to be the start of my Real Love Nation podcast show. So I want you all to please share. Let's get the word out to as many people as we can and help our sisters be encouraged that there's some good men, single men who are marriage-minded. Yes. All right, Jared, drop it on us, brother. Preference. Do you have a certain preference? Obviously, I know the man of God, that the quality of man that you are, you definitely want a woman of God. I want to kind of put aside the spiritual part, okay? Because I think that part of the reason for those of us in ministry, those of us who are in leadership in ministry, and those of us who are just ensconced in ministry to one way or another, for you, Jared, marketplace ministry, so on and so forth. I think one of the challenges for many of us who are in ministry is that we're too ministry minded. Well, the scripture tells us that we're first natural and then we're spiritual. And while the spiritual aspect is absolutely necessary and it's foundational to having a healthy love relationship as believers, but I think that oftentimes we're focusing too heavily on spiritual. For example, I know a lot of women who are looking for a particular type of man, that he has to be, this apostolic, prophetic, pastoral, evangelistic, he got to be a man, he got to be one of those dudes that holds his ear when he's preaching, and all of this. And I just think that a lot of us are prolonging our single season because we're not focused enough on the natural things. Dr. Sherman talked about, he didn't say anything about his beautiful wife. He didn't say anything about her in terms of she was an evangelist and she was a psalmist and she was a spoken word artist. I mean, he didn't go into none of that stuff. It was just, wow, she serves a particular thing that I need, and hamburger, she's fine too. So Jared, talk to us from a natural perspective, brother. What are some things that you would be looking for in a wife? What are some of the qualities that you would be looking for?
Okay, well, basically to piggyback off everything everybody else said, one, I want it to happen just organically, not be forced, rushed, anything like that. Also, just the mutual attraction and the mutual interest, and I want them to be equally as excited to see and hear from me as I am from them. Or don't be afraid to send the first message in the morning, hey, or how was your day? Initiate it, show a common interest and all that. That's key and important.
Yes.
And then if I wanted a God-fearing, a Christian woman that wants to live a biblical marriage and lifestyle, I'm not going to go hang out at the bar all night and look for a chick throwing back shots all night and dancing on the bar. Okay,
but Jared, she can't do shots.
She can do shots, but not be dancing on the bar in a drunk, lush bar fly. Okay, so if it's what I want, I got to go to places where they're going to be. If it's not online dating, which it's not really my cup of tea, I want to meet them out the old-fashioned way. I think that's how we all got here, anyways. So
that's right.
For me, I like to go do service work. I like to volunteer. I like to. I would really like to go on more mission trips and stuff like that. Those are the types of places that I'm going to find the type of woman that I'm looking for. I have a servant's heart. Those are things that bring me joy that I love to do. So to find compatibility and somebody that is God-fearing and loves Jesus, that's where I'm going to find them. I could bump into her at the grocery store and not know that she has that kind of heart and everything. It could happen from there. I don't know. But to find the type of woman that I want that's going to be conducive to my lifestyle and what I believe God has called me to do and what brings me fulfillment and what I want to do to carry out my purpose, I got to go put myself in positions to meet the type of woman that is like-minded.
Yes.
And
so what are some of those things? What does a like-minded woman look like for Jared?
I've definitely met women that I'm attracted to. There's millions of women that I find physically attractive, past that, like the personality's got to be attractive and compatible. The type of woman that I would want, let's see, has to have a sense of humor and not be hyper spiritual like all the time. It's all we talk about. Yeah, I want it to be the forefront and the and everything, but not just all the time. It's all we have to talk about. It's like almost like just trying too hard sometimes. I've ran across that. Another thing is like I've talked to or whatever. Girls like, oh, I'll go to church with you, and I'm like, what church do you go to now? And they're like, oh, I don't, but I believe in Jesus, but I don't believe you have to go to church and all that. Like, I get tired of that too. I want a woman that's already established and rooted in the Word, and already has a relationship with the Lord, already goes to church, and already doing the things that I do on a regular basis. I don't want them to transform and conform to what they think that I like and want. I want them to be them.
No transformers.
I want to love them, not what their ideal of what they think I want. I don't want that. I want it to be.
So in other words, Jared, you don't want the sister from Coming to America. Whatever you like.
Yeah, no.
Whatever kind of food you like. Wherever you want to go, whatever you like. You don't want that kind of sister.
Yeah.
Can we all, as men, let our sisters know that we don't want the woman as a wife that says, whatever you like? Can we all, men, raise your right hand if you all know, like we all agree, like, yeah, I do not want a robot.
I don't want a robot.
Yeah. All right. So ladies, you just saw from 4 awesome, godly men, we do not want a robot. We do not want the woman that comes, whatever you like. Okay, well, what's your favorite food? Whatever food you like. You don't want that system. Dr. Sherman, chop it up with me. I want you to give me the first thought that comes to your mind when I tell you, when I give you these words, and I want you to put it in the format and the framework of what you would be looking for in a wife. You're crossing paths with, let's say you went to a great conference and there's all these phenomenal godly women that are there. I'm going to give you these words, Dr. Sherman: compatibility of purpose. Compatibility of purpose. What does that speak to for you, Dr. Sherman, when you think of compatibility of purpose and looking ahead to a woman who has the potential to be your wife?
I think we all have certain journey we have to walk, and the fortunate of us can dissect that journey and turn it into an actual purpose, an actual passion, and the even more luckier of us can monetize that and service a lot of people so that we're walking in our gift, what we were designed to do. We've been, divinely designed. We understand and realize that may have taken some time, but we are walking in our purpose. A woman who's doing the same thing is very attractive because more often than not, she's going to be doing it better, for one, and more organized and more structured, for one.
Yes,
so it's almost like, like with my wife, I could learn from this person.
Yes,
I'm doing pretty good. Okay, I feel like I'm doing all right. But I can learn from this woman. As a man, I can learn some things about life and about my walk and about my purpose. So when I think about what, like you said, compatibility of purpose, if she is not walking in her purpose in any sort of way, I'm likely not attracted to that person, to that lady, no matter what she looks like, because it, like Jared said, it goes far past looks to where, I mean, a beautiful woman is a dime a dozen. It's just like a handsome guy is a dime a dozen everywhere. What do you have after that? So if we're not on the same wavelength as it comes with our own individual walks, like we're taking individual walks, but we're now holding hands and making that walk collectively, but we're still individually walking in our purpose, and we're only adding to each other and completing each other where we were missing, and sort of completing a puzzle to where both of us have a compatibility to serve. She has to want to serve in some sort of way. And if she's doing that, whether I'm here or not, she's gonna get up in the morning and go do that, whether he's here or not. That's attractive. So if we have compatibility of purpose is important.
And just to be clear, Dr. Sherman, when you said doing the same thing, you meant doing the same thing in terms of both of you are purpose focused, not necessarily that you're working in the same industry.
Right, but purpose driven is something to where we've been divine. You can see when somebody's walking in divine, or if somebody's just messing around, like me saying I want to be a rapper. Okay, not too many people are gonna back me. Okay, I can rap a little bit. We did some freestyle back in the day, but imagine me with, I don't know, 1,000 entrepreneur friends, coaches, consultants, authors, editors, who you name it. I got a bunch of friends in that all those categories. Imagine if I publicly said, "Hey, y'all, it's on." And they're gonna be like, "What is going on? He's about to drop an announcement. It's about to be on. He got a new speaking engagement. Got something." No, y'all, I've given it up. I've been touched. I'm gonna be a rapper. It's on. I need y'all to share my music. I'm about to go in the studio, get this song going. My friends are gonna be like, "What the hell are you doing? You're 46. What are you doing? A rapper? What are you rapping?" So chances are my friends I would not be able to get away with calling that my purpose. They're not going to buy it. I'm like, "Get out of here. What are you doing?" So I'm going to have to stick to what I'm doing. So you can tell when somebody's being phony, or maybe they just don't know themselves. Like the guy who wants to be a rapper at 46. You just don't know. Like
right.
Remember Five Heartbeats, the two? They always had a different hook. Like we was Frotown, Motown. We rap country and western. So right. Have a little hook, but you can watch somebody and see whether or not they are walking in divine purpose or they're just messing around. And that means a lot in compatibility of purpose, I think.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah, being oh my God, Dr. Sherman, you dropped some love nuggets on us there. Being certain and being confident in your purpose. Ladies, please hear us tonight. That is so exceptionally attractive. And I'm going to say it like I feel it. It's sexy. Oh my God. A woman who is confident. Oh my God. Let me just talk about it for a minute right here, brothers. A woman who is really clear on why God placed her here. And she's walking in that thing and walking in it boldly and confidently. She's making mistakes. She's making failures. She's having setbacks, but she gets back up and she's going again. And she doesn't let anything stop her from that. Ladies, please hear me tonight. That is so wonderfully attractive and is downright sexy. Because as Dr. Sherman said, and I got to edify what Dr. Sherman said, listen, it is something that we as seasoned gentlemen, we know, ladies, that you're probably going to be doing it better than us. There are some wonderful aspects. Even if we're doing the same thing, there are some wonderful things, wonderful aspects to what you do, ladies, and the way you do it is just absolutely awesome, which is why, and let me talk to all my gentlemen on this broadcast, brothers, those of you that are single, listen. And those of you who have been married before and perhaps your spouse passed away, like my brother, Dr. Sherman, or you've gone through a divorce. Let me help you, brothers. Listen, we as men, there's a reason why all the way back in Genesis, God says it is not good that man should be alone. Now, with the exception of men who are called to singleness, and there is an infinitesimally small number of us who are called to singleness. All right. So stop it. All y'all talking about, yeah, doc, I just feel I'm called to be single. Nah, bro, you're just dealing with pain and fear. We're going to help you with that, okay? Because if you're called to singleness, you're not going to struggle with the need for companionship, and you're not going to struggle with sexual desire. When you're called to it, God gives you a grace for it. And you ain't going to be tripping, be like, "Oh, Lord, I sure wish I had somebody to hold me." You ain't going to be tripping like that, all right? Now, let's talk about the real deal Holyfield. Jared, I want to toss it to you, brother. When we're talking about purpose, when we're talking about companionship, when we're talking about these things, and again, I want to throw the same question to you, Jared, compatibility of purpose. You mentioned that you have a servant's heart. I know that about you, brother. But for those who don't know you, you mentioned a servant, that you have a servant's heart. And you're called to serve and volunteer. Can your wife be a woman who loves you, but she doesn't necessarily feel the same burden to serve the way you serve? Would that be suitable for you?
Yeah, as long as she's doing what, she's been called to do, like Dr. Sherman was saying, as long as she's walking in her purpose, actively at least seeking what her purpose is and just being obedient what God has called her to do. Like I don't want her to just support me and drop everything to support all my vision, all my purpose and everything. She has her own thing, and I want her to do that, and I want to be equally as supportive to her. And like he was saying too, they're probably doing it better than us, more organized than us, and all that, and they mature faster, so we can learn a lot from them. So like I
Yes.
would absolutely love to find that, and I would not feel inferior. I wouldn't be insecure if she was smarter or more driven or even more successful than me. I welcome that, and then if
I
she's
love
walking in
that,
her
Gerald.
purpose, and I think it would be, more conducive and more convenient if our purposes were very like and compatible, but they don't have to be the same thing. You
Okay,
know,
awesome.
only only God knows, you know, the exact direction and who He's going to place in our lives eventually that could be good and compatible. But
Absolutely.
and it doesn't always look like what we think it's going to look like. It can resemble it, but it doesn't always look exactly like it. And we have to be sometimes willing to compromise what we thought it was going to be sometimes.
Hmm.
Because
That's a great. That's a
if like a beautiful woman comes along, loves Jesus, and she's just called into a professional field, she doesn't necessarily do mission work, this, that, and the other, but she likes to be a nurse because she loves to nurture people and everything. But she absolutely loves Jesus and stands on the word. That's fine, whatever the
Mhm.
case may be. She could be just a missionary. It doesn't matter to me as long as she's walking in her purpose.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Brandon, same question for you, but I want to ask you a little bit differently because Dr. Sherman gave us something that was really powerful, and it's something that us men, we don't acknowledge it enough. And I think some of us are probably not even as open as we should be in the understanding that just as much as my woman can learn from me, and I need a woman who can learn from me, that we need to learn from her as well. I love what Dr. Sherman says. I want a woman that I can learn from. I love that. And I think that's something that we as men, we're not either open to it, number one. Number two, we are learning from our woman. We don't acknowledge her. We don't publicly love on her in that way to let her know, like, baby, yeah, y'all see all this that we built? This beautiful woman right here? Yeah, it's her. Okay. We're partners in it, yes. But if it wasn't for her, all of this would not have been built, right? Brandon, question for you, my brother. Do you desire a woman that you can learn from, A, and B, what does that type of woman look like, intellectually speaking? Aside from the spiritual part, I just want to deal with natural stuff. Do you feel that that you want to learn from a woman? Can you learn from her? Are you open to learn from her? And what does that look like, intellectually speaking?
Yeah, no, I definitely love to uh uh learn from a woman the same way that I would hope that she would want to learn from me. It's called a meeting of the minds, and it's called iron sharpens iron. Uh for me, what that would look like if there's a woman that I happen to meet that can really challenge me intellectually, that I can actually sit down and engage in an in-depth conversation, and it doesn't feel like I'm having a second or third grade conversation with the person. Like those types of conversations with people, it kind of bores me. I think it's really uninteresting or whatever. But if we can really talk about tough topics and really challenge each other to see different points of view, at the end of the day, we may not necessarily agree, but we can at least sit down and discuss our views and let each other know where we come from. It actually challenges us both to grow in that area, to at least be open to hearing what other people have to say. But I think a lot of men do themselves a great disservice when they have a woman, especially if they know that they have a woman that is very intellectually capable, and they choose not to tap into that resource, you know, or and let alone, like you said, publicly acknowledge when certain moves that are made that are successful. It's because it was their idea, or their vision that helped it to come to pass. I,
Mhm.
I they do themselves a great disservice.
I like that, Brandon. Listen, let's wake it up in here a little bit. I want to talk about women who are in ministry. When I talk about women who are in ministry, I mean women who are they're one of the fivefold ministry leaders. She serves in an apostolic or prophetic, a pastoral, an evangelistic, and a teacher capacity, right? Or she has her own church, or she has a really busy itinerant ministry where she's traveling often. I want to ask my brothers if that would be a woman of interest to you. And as we get ready to broach that topic, let me share this. I actually had an experience where I had a woman who terrified me. And I thought I was a pretty solid guy. I mean, first of all, if you're with me, you got the best of two worlds, because I'm from the hood. Shout out to South Central. Shout out to Crenshaw. I'm from the hood, but I've also been serving faithfully in ministry for many years. So while certainly a woman who is in ministry is important, this woman actually scared me. I mean, literally, I felt shivers in my bones when I met this woman and we went out, and like on the second date, we were just having a regular conversation. We were sitting in the car having this great intimate conversation and just talking about all kinds of things. And before I knew it, we've been sitting there for like an hour, and all of a sudden, she felt something and she went, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I mean, she literally scared me. I felt shivers go all the way to my bones. Jared, you have no idea. When she bust out and started speaking in tongues, oh my God, there's something wrong. Is there a devil in here? Oh my God. I mean, I know my thoughts were pure. I wasn't having lustful thoughts toward the sister, but she went to start speaking in tongues, and I was like, oh my God. I felt my heart skip a beat, and not in a romantic way. And so I need to hear from all my brothers. Oh my God. And literally that day, I said to myself, I said, self, and myself said, and I said, we don't want to date a preacher who got so much of the Holy Ghost she can't have a regular conversation. And myself said, agreed. And from that day, me and self have been on one accord. I need to hear from my brothers. Dr. Sherman, do you prefer, or let me ask you like this. If you did connect, organically develop a relationship with a woman who is of a fivefold ministry leadership position, a pastor or an evangelist, traveling evangelist, is that something that you feel that you could handle? Could you handle dating a woman who's really, her life is ministry, her purpose is ministry?
Yeah, and I think you could go a step further with that to try to test the guy and be like, suppose she has her own church, and y'all wind up together. You gonna be a first husband? You be a first husband sitting up there? I was asked that question too. So you got to think about it the whole way. You be like, yeah,
absolutely.
We good.
Absolutely. Well, you're absolutely right, Dr. Sherman. And thank you for bringing that to the table. I am a pastor, so I would never be a first gentleman because I am a pastor. So wake it up. But no, that's a real thing. That's a real possibility.
I've heard I've heard those conversations. Like, he's got a problem. Some friend was a lady who was a preacher, and some friend, she was dating some guy, and he did not want to get serious because he would have to be a first husband because she had a church. That was the real reason why he didn't want to be serious with her. So all jokes aside, I wouldn't I guess it would have to depend on the circumstance, but I want her to have, like Jared said, a relationship with the Lord. That's like number one. We don't have to be Bible toting in church every Sunday 4 or 5 days a week, but just as long, again, you can watch somebody and see if they have a walk or not. They see if they have by their actions, the way they talk, the way they interact with people, the way they treat people who are in service, like waiters and people like that. You can tell a lot about a person by how they treat other humans. But I wouldn't have, and then I'm gonna get ready to head up because the natives are getting restless. But
Gotcha.
they were I would definitely not have a problem with that. But going all the way with a woman who's in ministry is different than a pastor or an evangelist who has their own congregation, because you'd be a first. I don't know how that would look. I don't know, but I wouldn't be against it, but it would have to be divinely orchestrated in a way that I can't comprehend at the moment.
Right. I got you. One more question, Dr. Sherman, because I know you got to go, and definitely take care of the lovely royal native. In the event that God puts you on the path to connect with a woman who is, let's say, a multi-billionaire, she's a multi-millionaire, she's a like Fortune 500 company CEO. Right. And I want to ask this question, and I'm going to circle back to my brothers, Jared and Brandon. But before you go, Dr. Sherman, I want to ask this question, because I've talked to several men, many men around the world. I've talked to men who are Asian, Latino, men who are Anglo. I've talked to many different types of men. And I remember one specific question as I was on a train riding from Philadelphia to New Jersey. And I happened to sit next to a well-dressed gentleman who graduated from Princeton, 35 years old. He's never been married. And he told me, Dr. Sherman, he could never marry a woman who makes more money than him. Tell me, I know we broached this conversation last week. We didn't really get to delve into it. But for those who did not hear the broadcast from last week, Dr. Sherman, share with us your thoughts about marrying a woman who makes significantly more money than you. What are your thoughts on that?
We are running to the altar, and I'm gonna make sure that I take a few years to sort of kick back, chill, let her do her thing. I'll cut the grass, cook a little something. I'll wash a few clothes, let her handle the thing. But no, and that has come up a lot too. And all jokes aside, she's doing something right. So I would not be intimidated by a woman. I've dated women who have, have more net worth than me. I've done that before. I wouldn't be intimidated by that, because like we were talking about before, a woman is still a woman. It doesn't matter if she's got $1,000 or $10 billion. She still needs to be treated like a woman, and she's still going to be interested in the things that money can't buy. And probably to the point, if she's that successful, money doesn't even excite her anymore. Doesn't even bother her anymore. So you would have to be able to bring the things that, sort of the basic things, the natural things that she's probably hasn't had a lot of time to do because she's so driven and focused and driven. But would I have a problem with her if she made significantly more money than me? As a man, your ego is going to be tested here and there. But again, it's how it's handled. It's how she handles it. Is she rubbing it in your face? I mean, because it would only make me want to grind harder. Get me motivated to be like, this can't. If I had some feelings like I can't have this woman making more than me. If I had any feelings like that, it wouldn't be negative. It would be like, all right, I need to get in gear. And like I said, like Jay was saying earlier, she could probably help me. We could probably help each other get to where we can both be a team, because eventually we'd be on the same sort of team. So it's all, it's everybody's, it's in everybody's best interest to, because she's a lot of women who are successful. There's so many successful women out there. They run into that all the time. I hear that all the time. The guy was intimidated by me. It didn't work out. I was nice to him and I didn't throw my money in his face, but he just felt like he was inadequate. And the man actually said those words. I feel like I'm inadequate. Right. So I'm like, if he actually said those words, he's not the guy, for one, and he probably needs to work on himself a little bit, because we should never feel inadequate or intimidated to what we bring to the table. If that's the case, don't date. Right. Wait until you feel confident to what you bring to the table, and it ain't money. If you're not bringing money to the table, if you can bring those things, those characteristics, those traits that will go far and go well in the foundation building of a relationship, doesn't matter how much money you got. Right. Now, that's irrelevant. You got to buy stuff, whatever. You got to have some money, but no, I wouldn't be intimidated by that. It's the character more so than the wealth.
That's good stuff, Dr. Sherman. Listen, my brother, I love you to life. I know you got to go, but thank you so much, man. You begin to get a lot of positive feedback here in the comments. I haven't been able to read all of them, but really good comments on the things that you shared earlier, man. So we'll chop it up again soon, man. All right.
Yes, we will. Thank you, brothers. See y'all later, fellas.
See you later.
All
Thank you,
right.
brother. God bless. All right. That's my brother, Dr. Sherman Urquhart. Beautiful brother in the Lord. And ladies, I hope you really heard his heart. He is a man who was married, married a beautiful woman, and unfortunately, she passed away in 2019. Yet his heart and his mind is still in marriage mode. He is a man who seeks to be married. So, ladies, the purpose of this broadcast tonight, as you're hearing from my brothers Jared Schroeder, my brothers Brandon Leathers, and from myself, that contrary to the popular opinions that are strewn all over mainstream and social media, God is not broke. He has never run out of anything, and he has not run out of good, godly men who are marriage minded. All right. Dr. Sherman is, he's an educator, PhD in education, very successful. Jared Schroeder, my brother here, owns his own clothing line, and he's got other couple of revenue streams as well. And my brother Brandon Leathers is a professional chef, and among other things that my brother Brandon does. So you're talking to some very successful men who are very successful in their fields, and godly men, men of character, men of integrity, because I don't hang around with no other kind of cats. Men of character, men of integrity, and men who are professional and are marriage minded. So I needed you all to hear all that tonight. So let's keep the conversation going. My brother Jared, I want to toss it back to you, brother. When we talk about that woman who is a high earner, and I want you to talk about both parts of this, both from the financial aspect as well as the spiritual aspect, because I know you are a servant at heart. You are like your brother, Dr. G. I am a servant at heart. You know that, Jared. My whole life in ministry has most often been volunteer. All the years that I've served in ministry, I think I've only been on salary like 2 out of the many years that I've been in ministry. And I've been blessed to direct 2 award-winning choirs and travel all over the country, television appearances and all of that kind of stuff. And I've only been received an honorarium or a salary in serving in the ministry, a full-time job in ministry, for 2 out of all the years that I've served. So that goes to servanthood. That said, Jared, for you, if you are to marry a woman who is the pastor of a church, how would that make you feel as a man? She's got her own church,
Well,
nice size church too, not a mega church, but she's got about like 200 or 300. And she ain't over here in the storefront. No shade to the storefronts, y'all. But she's not over here in the storefront. Got her own church. I pass out of my house. But she's got a literal church with a staff and all of that. How do you feel as a man? But guess what, Jared? She's a real woman, and she has already expressed her love for you, her interest in you as a man. And my question to you as a man, how are you going to cultivate and develop that relationship with her?
Well, I would be open to it. Now, truth be told, I don't have any idea what it looks like. I don't know what being the first man or the first husband or the whatever that looks like. I have no idea what that would even entail, what my role would be and everything. I would be completely open to it. It's just I have never experienced it, never even came close to it. Would I be open to it? Yes, because I don't put God in a box. I'm not closed-minded. I'm pretty open-minded. Now, with that being said, as long as her leadership and all that stuff doesn't spill over into our relationship to where she still knows that we're going to go by the biblical protocol of leadership and headship. As long as she doesn't think that it's God, her, than me, and I'm going to be submissive to her, and she's going to be pastoring me all the time like that, like I'm one of the people in the congregation, then I'm okay with it. Now, I'm not going to say that, like, she's just gonna answer to me and all that. That's not what I mean at all. But she's gonna have to know that the roles by design are still intact and in place. And if it went to her head too much or whatever, then it wouldn't work for me. It just wouldn't work for me. So I would be open to it, but I have no idea what my role would be or how that would even look. And if it was conducive and compatible and it happened organically and it felt right and I felt like it was in God's will and all that stuff, I'd be completely open to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome, Jared. Brandon, same question, brother. There is a woman who is a millionaire businesswoman and she's a pastor of her own church. And she loves her some Brandon Leathers. And you find her attractive too. Would that be a woman that you would be willing to pursue?
Yeah, that she would be someone that I would do, but again, the biggest stipulation would be, like my brother Jared said, is that making sure that she understands that when you are in your profession or in your lane, of course you're going to lead in that capacity, but when it comes to the thing like in a household setting, there's a different set of there's a different structure that that goes by, you know what I'm saying? And so as long as that is in place, where the man is the head of the house, not trying to say like I want to dominate over you, but making sure that the natural biblical order is in place, have nothing I have nothing against it. And the fact, if she's making a lot of money, that's fine, because again, she's worked hard to get to the place that she has. God has blessed her, with the ideas that, she's implemented to get to the place and success that she has. If anything, like Dr. Schroeder said, not Dr. Schroeder, but
Dr. Sherman.
Yeah, Dr. Sherman said, I'm speaking into existence to Jerry, doctor, but it would encourage me to push harder, and to make sure I take what I'm doing in my profession to the next level as well. So, but I think a lot of people also, if you're already in ministry, like myself, if you're already in ministry, maybe it could also be a situation as you're getting to know each other, you guys end up going down the path of marriage. You don't necessarily have to be the first gentleman. It could be a situation where you guys are co-pastors at that point. You know what I'm saying? There's many different scenarios or roads that you could go down with that. It doesn't necessarily have to be one set road, but I think it's definitely important to sit down and really clear conversation and get a clear understanding of how that would look,
Yeah.
going.
That's good. That's good, brothers. Man, listen, you guys, this has been a wonderful conversation. I see so many people, so many of our sisters, and I saw a couple of my brothers in here being blessed by the conversation. Just before we close out tonight, brothers, I want you all to have closing thoughts. And I want you to speak to all of our sisters out there who are praying and believing God for a good, godly husband. I want you to have a closing thought and encourage our sisters, Jared, encourage our sisters, Brandon, with what should women do to meet a quality man like you? Jared.
First, I want to touch on one of the other sides of that question, about if she makes more money than me.
Yes.
I am not threatened by that whatsoever. One, I'm secure in myself. I'm confident in my identity. And two, I would prefer it. I would not be afraid of that or feel inferior or any of that. And success leaves clues. Maybe she can teach me how she got there, and she might be better in business, better at negotiating. She might be better at organization and planning and all that. I welcome that.
Absolutely.
As long as it doesn't go to her head and she doesn't think that she has to respect me because she makes more money. As long as the respect is still intact and the headship and everything's still intact, I couldn't care less I don't care if she works at McDonald's or owns it. I don't care if she makes $12 an hour or $1,200 an hour, as long as she loves the Lord and respects me and we're compatible. I couldn't care less.
That's good stuff,
So
Jared.
now, what I would say to the ladies out there that are waiting for their Boaz, they're waiting for a godly man. One, be in a position, in a posture to be found by one, and two, be patient and stop letting your feelings and these emotions of butterflies make your decisions, and stop reacting to things. Like, you might meet one and he's so great and everything at the beginning. Yeah, that happens a lot, and that's called infatuation. It's not called being in love. You don't even know this person long enough, for one.
Right.
For two, and over time, they're going to show you who they really are. So all these red flags that you were overlooking because you were so in love, now they're become a big problem. And once somebody really shows you who they are, believe them the first time. If they show you very narcissistic traits 6 months down the road, believe them. But here's the thing, you got to get 6 months down the road. Don't go jumping into things and put labels on it and letting emotions and butterflies do all of your thinking. Still think rationally, be patient, ask God for wisdom and discernment. And another thing is, like, if the lady's already going to church and everything, she's inviting him to come to church, that's fine. But if he's not already going to church to where he can invite you to his, that's a huge red flag. If he doesn't already have a relationship with the Lord and actively seeking him, he's not the one. You're not going to lead him to him. You are not created to lead and do all that. He should already, if you want a godly man, he should already be rooted. You can't be his savior. And I see this all the time. I've had friends, I'm like, and the first thing I asked them when I go, this guy, blah, 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 I'm like, what church does he go to? Oh, he doesn't, but he said he'd go with me. I said, it's not him. Instantly. But he's nice. I said, I don't care. You're doing it wrong. You don't put the wagon before the horse.
That's
There's
right.
a reason why God put things in place the way he did, because he knows what he's doing.
That's right.
That's what I would tell him. Be patient.
You're getting some really good responses over here. So be patient.
Be patient. Don't rush, and do not be emotionally charged and react. It can be good, lovey-dovey butterfly feelings. It's okay to have them, but do not react and act and make decisions based upon those. And don't overlook red flags.
Right.
You will pay for it dearly in the long run.
Well said, Jared. My brother Brandon, let's encourage our sisters tonight. What are some things that a woman should be doing in preparation for a husband that she's praying and believing God for?
So, I mean, it's going to be hard to come right behind what my brother Jared said. I mean, he hit a lot of the topics, right on the bullseye already. But I would also say as well that, while you're waiting for that husband that you're waiting for, or that you want to come and find you, it's really important to make sure that you are continually allowing yourself to be prepared by God to be the wife that he needs you to be for him. In today's society, it's always talked about, well, the man needs to be this for the woman, the man needs to be this for the woman, the man needs to be that for the woman, this and this and this and this. But it's never talked about, well, there's some things that man needs and desires too. You know what I'm saying? In a marriage as well, and that you have to make sure that you are preparing yourself as well, because I'm going to send you a husband to come and find you if you yourself are not prepared as a wife first.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well said.
I think, as you said, Dr. Hightower, you're not a wife when you get married. You're a wife when you're single in your mindset. The wife, being a wife, is about your mentality first. Being a husband is about your mentality first. Like, how are you carrying yourself in the midst of your singleness, in while you are preparing to enter into that phase of spousalhood or marriagehood, so yeah. And not just wanting to become wife material, but become wife material biblically, because we have
Yes.
people that husbands and wives, men and women, that they say they want a godly marriage, but yet they don't have the mentality to have a godly marriage. They want the godly marriage, but with a worldly mentality, or with a worldly approach to it. And you can't have, you understand, water and oil don't mix together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's either you have the mentality and mindset for one, or you have the mentality and mindset for the other, And so, yeah.
That's good. That's
That was
excellent.
good.
That's excellent, Brandon. Thank you, brother. I will say to my sisters, I'm going to give you 3 quick love nuggets. Y'all know how I do it. I'm going to give you 3 quick love nuggets with some extra barbecue sauce. Here we go. Number 1, my brother Brandon said it. My brother Jared said it about being prepared. Ladies, first of all, listen to what the scripture says. He that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Ladies, I got to give it to you raw and uncut, because in my broadcast and the Real Love Nation podcast, we always keep it rated double R, righteous and real. Ladies, you cannot just bring him your good thing. You have to be a good thing. And being a good thing is being profitable, is being an asset, and being a woman who is already in the mindset of being a wife. If marriage is your goal, is your desire, then your prayer life should be as a wife waiting to be chosen. When we look at the life of Queen Esther, Esther went through 12 months of preparation as a queen just to be in the room, to be selected to be queen. She didn't go through 12 months of preparation after she was chosen. She went through 12 months of preparation before she was chosen. So ladies, with men like Dr. Sherman, Brother Jared, Brother Brandon, and myself, when we're looking for a woman, we're looking for a woman who doesn't just want to be a girlfriend. We're looking for a woman who doesn't just want to be a homie lover friend thing, Netflix and chill chick. We're looking for a woman who is a wife. And let me tell you what a wife does. A wife comes in looking to see how she can meet needs, not rolling out a scroll telling us all the things you ain't gonna do. All right? Boom, that's first and foremost. A wife has the right mindset. Number 2, Jared touched on this, positioning yourselves to be found. Ladies, those of you that have been in my classes, those of you that heard me speak in conferences and workshops, ladies, your life has to consist more of work, church, and home, work, church, and home, work, church, take the kids here, take the kids there, and back home. Boo! You ain't nowhere to be found. So you're hoping and the wishing and the praying that he shows up at Publix or at at Whole Foods or Kroger,
Target.
Guess what? Or at Target. Could you meet him there? Absolutely. With God, all things are possible. But the likelihood of you running into him in the aisle while you're at Target, you don't hardly see no man in there anyway, hunty. You too busy shopping.
You better preach.
The likelihood is very slim. The likelihood of you running into a brother at Whole Foods or Publix, like, well, I'm gonna go to Whole Foods over there on the west side because it's better over there, better quality men's is over there. Actually, no. Studies show that men, we do like going to the better stores, but we're also looking for deals when we shopping. So, like, y'all go for the top products, like we going for the cheaper products, ladies. Y'all do it better than us. So you're going over there to the west side to go shopping, and we like, yeah, I'm about to go to the east side, dog. I'm gonna save $5. And watch this. So positioning yourself to be found. So I'm often asked the questions. One of the biggest FAQs in my workshops and conferences, lady says, well, Dr. G, where are good men gathered? Well, if you identify some of the qualities and traits of the man, the type of man that you would want to marry, then you have to go where he is. So boom. Museums. Yes, ladies, we as men do like to go to museums. Art shows, car shows. Ladies, don't know why y'all ain't going. Car shows, good quality men. And ladies, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a business person, listen, I know most ladies who are entrepreneurs don't hardly ever go to a chamber of commerce mixer. Ladies, are y'all serious? There are chambers of commerce all over the country. Good quality men who are what? Business owners are at those functions. All right. So those are just a few places. You'll have to come to my class for the pay 99 information if you want to get more. But I'm giving you some serious love nuggets. And the third and final thing I'll say, ladies, how to position yourself to be found. All three of my brothers touched on this tonight, is about developing yourself and moving into purpose for yourself. If you don't know what your purpose is yet, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up about that, because there are many people who don't know their purpose. They're still trying to discover purpose. All right. But what I do want to encourage you, ladies, is to Jared's point about being patient, to Brandon's point about being patient. Being patient is that my focus is not on a man. My focus is on my purpose, because the scripture tells us, beloved, in Matthew 6:33, Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And guess what's going to happen? All these other things, including your husband, all these other things will be added unto you. If you are on the pathway of purpose, God will cause that man to find you while you're on the pathway of purpose. All right. So I want to leave you ladies with that. I hope this broadcast has been a blessing to you tonight. Listen, for those of you that don't know purpose and you're still trying to discover it, listen, I've got a phenomenal purpose-driven leadership course, Move into Purpose. Some of you took that course last year. I had about 8 people reach out to me this week alone and said, my God, Dr. G, I need that class. So I'm going to do that class again, Move into Purpose. If you're interested, go ahead and send me an email. I'm going to respond to these emails tonight. All right. Now, if you hit me up in the email, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to tell you what the blessing is. You just got to come. Boom. Send me an email right here, reallovenation@gmail.com. That's reallovenation@gmail.com. Send me an email tonight. If you're in a place and you say, I'm not really sure of my purpose. If you're in a place where you're trying to discover the next level of purpose, all right, spiritually, professionally, relationally, if you're in that place, and those of you, especially those of you beautiful sisters who are believing God for your purpose partner, boom, send me an email and do it now. Don't wait. Don't delay, because this weekend is going to get busy and you'll forget. You send me an email tonight. I promise you I'm going to bless you. I'm going to give you something special by just hitting me up tonight. All right. I love you. Blessings to you. I hope you all have been blessed by this class tonight. This podcast show tonight. It was like a little masterclass, right? Brandon, Leathers, Jared, Schroeder, and my brother who had to leave a little bit, Dr. Sherman, Urquhart. Thank God for all of you, brothers. I love you and I appreciate you all. And thank you so much for joining the podcast, y'all. You all have been a blessing tonight. Go back and watch the replay, fam. We're going to leave this up so you'll be able to go back and see it. But in the meantime, let me take this off. Boom. All right, there we go. Get rid of that. All right. In the meantime, family, for those of you that are, there we go. Bam. All right. For those of you that are here, please go back and watch the replay, and feel free to give some digital currency. Give some digital currency, a word of love and appreciation to my brothers who gave some time to coming into this broadcast tonight. All right. So thank you, family. Love and blessings to you. We are signing off. And I don't know if you all hit us up and request us to come back. Maybe we'll come back and do a part 3. All right. Blessings on you, fam. Jarrett, Brandon, I love you, brothers. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thanks for having me.
This is G. Hightower, the Entanglement Coach for Real Love Nation podcast. We're signing off. God bless, fam.